Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the lunch table. I'm your host, Ben Houselog, a.k.a. Ben Likes Sports, a.k.a. Can we please stop someone on a fourth down? And we just witnessed a Thursday night football game for the ages between the Lions and the Packers, in which the Lions won 34-31. We have college football conference championship games coming up, and we have a big slate for NFL Sunday, along with the Thursday night football recap. All that coming up right here on the lunch table. Shannon Sharp, take it away.
Yams, collard greens, mac and cheese.
So I know a lot of you guys are listening. You guys know I'm a Packers fan. And you guys know, as I adjust my camera, they just lost to the Lions pretty badly. Not in the sense of, oh my gosh, they got blown out, but in the sense of, they did it again. The Packers threw for 31 yards in the first half. 31. Their biggest play in the first half ended with a Christian Watson fumble. The Lions just crippled the Packers on fourth down. They went 4 for 5 on fourth down. They basically had me out there. You put a linebacker on Jahmyr Gibbs on fourth down. I don't know what we're doing here. I understand the Lions, credit to them. They got the play in fast. They didn't allow any subs. They didn't let anyone to lock up a look. No one knew what was going to happen. But at some point, you got to realize, hey, we're playing the Detroit Lions this week. We might want to match up on fourth down. We might want a game plan for their coach that goes for it on fourth down every single time. It worked one time. And we stuffed them, got a touchdown out of it. They went for it on their own 30. They didn't get it. But there were a lot of positives from both teams coming out of this game. Firstly, Jordan Love, first half was rough. He's starting to use his legs better. Obviously, he had the knee injury, then he had the groin injury. And a lot of people seem to forget that Jordan Love is a capable runner. You're not going to have designed runs for him, but if he gets out of the pocket, he can get 14 yards. He can run for a first down. He can go from 1st and 10 to 2nd and 3. Packers did everything that they needed to in the second half. It's kind of been the story of the Packers season. They can't put a complete game together. Now, everyone's probably saying, oh my gosh, the Packers are contenders. They can't be contenders. Not with how their defense was playing. It was like Joe Barry reincarnated, came back in the form of Todd Halfley and coached this game. Granted, I think our four of our starting DBs were out. Xavier McKinney is a starter, so he was playing. But you have Ballantyne out, Alexander out, Williams out of the game, Bullard out of the game. And they sat back and carved us up. It's going to happen. You let Tim Patrick score 2 touchdowns on you. Not a shot at Tim Patrick, but he's old. He should not be routing up Stokes, but he did. Lions controlled the game very well. They had almost 10 more minutes of possession. That's how you win games. They converted on fourth downs. They had long drives. The Packers' drives were kind of bang, bang, bang. Now, they had a couple where Josh Jacobs ran the ball 10 times. I think that's their first touchdown drive, and that was it. Then it kind of came out bang, bang, bang. First drive out of half. Christian Watson, 60-yard deep ball, going into a Tucker Kraft touchdown. Speaking of Tucker Kraft, he is an absolute athlete. An absolute athlete. He is the next big tight end. A lot of people don't talk about him because he's not getting numbers like Brock Bowers or Sam Laporta last year or Travis Kelce. But make no mistake, this guy's legit. He can block well. Sure, he got put on his butt a couple times. It happens. He's a good athlete. Got knocked down and did the Shawn Michaels kip-up. Respect to that. Dan Campbell is too crazy for his own good, and I understand. Everybody, even myself, I posted a video, talk about, oh my gosh, Dan Campbell's nuts are huge. He needs a wheelbarrow, which he does. He does. Hand up, I'll be the first to admit it. He needs a wheelbarrow for how massive his nuts are. But you go for it on your own 30 and you run a halfback toss, it's going to cost them. It cost them against the Niners in the NFC Championship game. They almost cost the game tonight, but Jared Goff got lucky and gave it to David Montgomery. I hope that you guys never have to experience what it's like to stand up from your couch, to cheer on your team on a fourth down stop. It's 4th and inches. You know they're going for it. You know it's a run to David Montgomery. And you see the quarterback get the snap. His foot got stepped on. Oh my gosh, he's going to the ground. He gets off the handoff and it's first down. Lions win the game. My heart rate went up to 180 and then almost down to 0. I just, for a couple seconds there, did not want to be alive anymore after watching that. I was just in utter despair thinking of how lucky they just got. But you can't talk a lot about Dan Campbell because most of the time he gets it. Most of the time he goes for something crazy and it works. Hats off to him. Lions 34, Packers 31. Packers need a defense, right? They do. Obviously, they're still looking good for the playoffs. They just need to get a couple wins and they'll make the playoffs, but would have been nice to have this one. Would have been nice to have this one. I feel like if you took Dan Campbell, I wasn't even trying to say that. Dan Campbell is the kind of guy who goes to a blackjack table at a casino and hits on 17. He's the kind of guy who he will get 20. He'll get 2 10s. He'll look at someone behind him. He'll wink. He'll say hit, and he'll get an ace and somehow get 21. Dan Campbell is just unreal in that regard. Shout out to him. Cool. It's going to cost them. I hope it does. I'm just going to say respectfully, I'm a Packers fan. I wish nothing but losses for the Lions. I wish nothing but losses for everybody who's not my team. I'm not going to cover them like that because I'm trying to create a future where I work in sports, but that was a very rough game for me to watch. You had the Christian Watson fumble. You had them fall apart on 4th down numerous times. Get caught on double moves numerous times. Christian Watson, offensive pass interference on a touchdown that probably would have secured the game. It just goes on, man. It's just tough. With that being said, we are moving on to championship game predictions. I'm going to go through the Power 4 and then the Mountain West. Sorry, all the other ones out there, they don't have really any meaning on the college football playoff, so I'm not going to talk about them. Now, in the future, when I do this as my full-time job, hopefully, I will. Starting off with the Mountain West Friday, tomorrow, you have Boise State versus UNLV. And here is why I like championship football. You get revenge. Boise State and UNLV was not some blowout game by Boise State. In fact, I thought and I predicted that UNLV would beat them. They didn't, but they kind of contained Ashton Genty. And here's the thing. UNLV really has nothing to play for here. They are playing to be spoilers of Boise State in the college football playoff. One thing that is ridiculous, and this is why I hate the college football playoff, Boise State has one loss. That is to Oregon by 3 points. If they lose to UNLV, they will get kicked out. If they lose to UNLV and I see Alabama get in over Boise State, I am going to storm the college football headquarters. I'm not actually going to do that. For everybody, this is a joke. This is a very satirical podcast. But I'm genuinely going to think about it. But the thing about these championship games is now you have film. Okay, what looks worked well against them? What didn't work well? Now, Boise State now has 2 better offensive linemen back, starters at the start of the year. Now they're back. Ashton Genty, you want to win this game so you can give him, one, some more licks to Heisman because Heisman ballots are not due yet. Some probably sent him in early. A lot, obviously, it's going to be between Travis Hunter, Ashton Genty. If I had a vote, I would give it to Genty, but I understand Hunter. Either way, we're seeing a great Heisman season. I'll just leave it at that. But UNLV, as a whole, I believe is a better team than Boise State. But Boise State does have Ashton Genty. And a lot of people like to make the, oh my gosh, they're against Mountain West conferences. This man put up 185 yards and 3 touchdowns on Oregon. All right. And the thing is, now you get to see how Boise State is as a real team. Because let's be honest, a couple times there, Boise State was just feeding the ball to Ashton Genty to pad the Heisman agenda. And hand up, I would do the same exact thing. If you've ever seen me play college football 25, I have a guy that looks like he's going to win the Heisman. I'm calling a timeout up 40 with 5 seconds left to throw another Hail Mary. I'm scrambling with the quarterback to get an extra couple yards. I don't care. It's going to happen. But now, Boise State, you're going to be able to see Madsen drop back a little bit. Camper, heck of a receiver. Forgot the tight end's name, but he's also a good tight end. Now UNLV isn't going to be just focused on Ashton Genty. They have to focus on Boise as a whole. For that reason, I think that UNLV wins this game. Ashton Genty's banged up. Their O-line looks good, but not great. And UNLV is a good team. A lot of people, they lost to Syracuse in overtime. And in that game, they dropped a pick in overtime that would have sealed it. They have a great linebacker. I'm not sure if he's playing or not. I don't have it up in front of me. I was watching the Thursday Night Football game. Caden Woodard is going to be a stud in the NFL. Remember this. He is a great linebacker. He can shut down Ashton Genty. By shut down Ashton Genty, hold him to under 100 yards. He can do that. By himself. Obviously, Ashton Genty's probably going to get over 100 yards. If he doesn't, he doesn't, but that's just how it goes. But I'm going to take UNLV to upset Boise State in the Mountain West Championship game. This is a repeat game. This is sweet. Moving on, you have the Big 12 Championship game, Arizona State versus Iowa State. Arizona State obviously has Cam Scatterbo. Great running back. Gritty running back. Reminds me a lot of Danny Woodhead. Because of their play styles, of course. Nothing else. Nothing else. Went to Sacramento State, transferred up. Arizona State, he's going to be a legend in Tempe for a long time. I believe that's where Arizona State is. I'm hoping I did not just say Tempe is where Arizona State is, and it turns out that's where Arizona is. I'm pretty sure it's in Tempe. Iowa State, on the other hand, in my opinion, I know I'm an Iowa fan, they have left some stuff to be desired. They don't really finish off teams like Arizona State does. You look at the losses. Texas Tech at home, bad loss. Kansas, really bad loss. Now, the thing I will tell you is Kansas was balling. Kansas at the end of the year was playing like a top-tier Big 12 team. Kansas was expected to be very good. Devin Neal, Jalen Daniels, great ball players. Now, Iowa State's strength on defense is in their secondary. Up front, linebackers, Iowa State is injured very bad in their linebacking core. They have been cycling through linebackers all year. And you don't want to be cycling through linebackers when you're playing against, in my opinion, the second best running back in the Big 12. I believe that Harvey from UCF is the number one. But this guy's tough. Levitt is a good quarterback. Tyson just got first team all Big 12. Arizona State has a chip on their shoulder. These are both two programs having historical seasons, but the thing is, whoever wins this game isn't getting it. Arizona State, if they win this game, they will get in because they're the 12th seed. I don't think the committee lets in Iowa State. Why? I don't know. Why? Because SEC bias. That's why. I'm just going to say it right now. Look, they're not going to listen to this. I can say what I want. The SEC bias is crazy. Alabama shouldn't be in. Sue me. Because I don't think that the beloved Alabama Crimson Tide should be in after losing the 2 6-6 teams. That's just how it is. But what do I think is going to go down in this game? I think Arizona State runs all over Iowa State. I will be cheering for Iowa State because I love seeing guys from Iowa win. Obviously, I've played sports growing up with a lot of people in Iowa State. I've played against them. I've played with them. Hung out with a couple guys in Iowa State. Very good guys. Great campus. Great people in Iowa. All that stuff. But I think Arizona State has more momentum. They have a more repeatable scheme. Run the ball, play defense. Run the ball, play defense. That's all they need to do. For that reason, give me Arizona State to beat Iowa State in the Big 12 championship game. And moving on to the Big 10 title game. Obviously, we all know what went down last week. Michigan beat Ohio State. Ohio State is no longer in it. It's going to be Oregon versus Penn State. And for some reason, I know Oregon's the number one. This game is just, it's one of those games that you don't necessarily want to win. And that sounds crazy, but when you look at how the bracket is made up, you're playing either Tennessee or Georgia after this win. But if you punt the game, you could be playing against Boise State. That's the reality of how the bracket is laid out. The bracket is completely flawed. Both teams, if they lose, are going to be getting in. Because this would be Oregon's first loss. This would be Penn State's second loss. But both their losses were to top 5 teams. It is what it is. Penn State scares me. They've gotten into some games that really was rough. Oregon probably should have lost to Ohio State. But Will Howard slid with no time. It was just a jumble. A cluster, if you will. Penn State can run the ball well. Drew Aller is a capable quarterback. Obviously, Oregon, we know, Dylan Gabriel, great offense, great defense. I mean, there's a reason they're the number one team in the country. For that reason, I honestly think that Oregon's going to win. And it comes down to coaching. I like James Franklin. I don't think he's a great head coach. I think Dan Lanning is way more prepared than Franklin. I'm just going to be real here. Oregon has been playing with this expectation the whole time. They've known we're going to be in the Big Ten title game. Let's just keep it moving. Penn State, on the other hand, squeaked one out against Minnesota. Didn't look good against Ohio State. It's gonna get crazy. I think Oregon wins this game. Moving on to the SEC, we have another repeat game, Georgia versus Texas. Also, the ruling just came in after Texas threw all the water bottles onto the field against Georgia. No one was found guilty. As I drink my body armor. And you know what? Because no one was found guilty, everybody in Austin, Texas, everybody down in Georgia, everyone in Georgia catch an Uber, everyone in Texas drive on to the SEC championship. Bring water bottles. Throw them on the field. Ref takes too long to get a coin toss. Say hut. Throwing it out on the field. Hold them accountable for their calls. SC officiating has been awful. Honestly, Georgia shouldn't be in this. Georgia Tech got kind of hosed. And I know I come off as an SEC hater, but it's the truth. Georgia Tech should have won that game. South Carolina, the SEC came out and said, oh, my bad, we missed that call against LSU. That's actually not the call that should have been made. It shouldn't have been made at all. Oh, whoopsie daisy, we cost you a spot in the playoff. Our bad, we'll see you next year. I think Georgia wins this game. They're just made for championship football. I had them coming into this year. I said Georgia was going to be my title favorite. I said they're probably going to win it all. Actually, I didn't say probably. I said they would. Georgia's going to win it all. Was my take coming into the season. I don't necessarily think that now, but I think they have Texas' number. Texas has looked very beatable. Quinn Ewers has looked different after coming back from his initial injury early in the season. Against Texas A&M, they almost let them back into it. They don't really show the ability to finish a guy off. That was crazy. But you guys understand what I'm saying. You have a team down 10. You're driving. 17-point ball game puts it away. And you can't get into field goal range. They get it back. They score. Now it's a 3-point game. Now your butthole is kind of puckered. You're kind of, uh-oh, what's happening now? Are we getting back into it? Are we selling the game again? That's stuff that happens. The psychology of football is a very interesting thing. I've been part of a game where we were up 30 going into halftime in high school. We lost the game. Running the entire second half, we lost the game. I was a receiver, so don't put that on me. I was blocking my best. I didn't even get a target in the second half. Hey, ain't on me. Okay. But Texas has not shown that ability. Georgia has shown the ability to climb back into it. And honestly, when they're up, kind of finish the other team off. They're more experienced that way. Obviously, Texas was in the playoff last year. Washington came down, missed the fade ball that I think it was Mitchell in the end zone. They're looking for revenge, but for some reason, I just can't bet against Georgia. So give me Georgia in the SEC title game. Moving on to the ACC title game, you have SMU versus Clemson. And a lot of people are just going to take Clemson and say, oh, SMU, ACC, cupcake schedule. The thing is, SMU gets a lot of pressure on the quarterback. And the whole entire game will revolve down to, can Cade Klubnik handle pressure? South Carolina went into Death Valley and won. That is why I think South Carolina should have been in, but I digress. If Clemson wins, I don't think Clemson should be put in either. I don't think they should be put in either. 3 losses in the ACC does not equate to 3 losses in the SEC, especially when Alabama beat the team that you lost 30 by. Sorry. I know I sound like an SEC hater, but the ACC, if any team from the ACC should have got in, it should have been Miami. Plain and simple. Now, if SMU loses, does Miami get in? I still think it should be South Carolina, but it's Miami. It's Ole Miss. It's, heck, South Carolina. A lot of stuff can go down. But SMU gets a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Do I trust Cade Klubnik? I do a little bit. I trust Dabo Swinney. He's been here before. But SMU is kind of the team of destiny right now. It was a team that no one was talking to. All of us were over here. Oh, look at Ohio State and Michigan. They're getting pepper sprayed. Holy crap. Look at Ashton Genty. Oh my gosh, Travis Hunter. Maybe Colorado makes a run. And SMU just calmly walked up, said, thank you, I'll take this spot in the playoffs. Let's do it. And you know what? I'm still going to go with Clemson. I think that Clemson's defense can shut down SMU. I don't even think it's going to be close. I think that Clemson blows out SMU. Based off nothing but just vibes. Based off of nothing but just vibes. That's what I think. And now it is time to move on to the NFL Sunday predictions. Now I know NFL is the last thing I want to talk about right now. After watching my team lose on Thursday Night Football, everyone's clowning my team. It doesn't feel great. It doesn't. But you have to remember these feelings for when your team gets to the mountaintop. Wins the Super Bowl. Hang on. Aaron Rodgers in the studio with is that a Super Bowl champions thing on? Yeah. Was I 8 years old when it happened? Yes. Do I still remember it to this day? Yes. We were at my buddy Coleman's house. I was in the living room with all the adults. All the kids were running around downstairs playing. My mom said, Ben, don't you want to go play with the other kids? And I said, Clay Matthews, AJ Hawk, BJ Raji, Sam Shields. That's what I said. But moving on to NFL Sunday. First game on the agenda, we have the Browns at the Steelers. The last time they played, a couple weeks ago. Jameis snow game. He said the Lord had blessed him to play in the snow, and he cooked in the snow. But the Steelers, they're coming off a very impressive win against the Bengals. Russ was cooking. Looked like Seahawks Russ. And here's the thing. If you guys remember at the end of the snow game, a receiver by the name of George Pickens and Greg Newsome got into it. And this could be completely speculation. Part of me thinks George Pickens is not forgetting that. And I don't think Greg Newsome is either. Because the Browns, they're basically eliminated. But what can they do? They can play spoiler. And there is nothing sweeter sometimes than bouncing another team a couple spots. When I was a junior in high school, we played against the number one team in the state, the last game of the season. We were, I think, 6-11, and they only had 2 losses. They came into our home gym, and we somehow beat them. I have never felt that good in my life. Their star player's dad got ejected because he was shouting at me. I was clapping it up. I had like 7 points, dude. I wasn't doing much. Clutch 7 points, though. Big time 7 points. Good defense, gritty. Nose got hit a couple times. Obviously, it does. I mean, look at the schnoz. But nothing is better than playing spoiler. If I'm going down, you're going down with me. And we know what Jameis did last time he was out. 500 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 picks. But I'm going to be real. The Steelers are a well-coached football team. So are the Browns, but the Steelers more so. They're a better team. And I think they kind of want to get back at the Browns. And the Browns are now coming in to the Steelers' home turf. Steelers are kind of making a run here. Obviously, they want to lock up the North. So give me the Steelers to beat the Browns. I hope the Browns win because I like watching Jameis win, but I think the Steelers are going to win this game. Moving on, we have the Saints at the Giants. This is the, oh my gosh, someone's in the red zone game. Respectfully, Giants don't have Dexter Lawrence. And mathematically, the Saints are not eliminated from the playoffs, but like, let's be real. That's like when you're a freshman in high school and your buddy's like, hey, I'll give you $10 if you go up to the hottest senior chick in the school and say what's up. 1% chance, 99% faith. The Saints are just out here having a good time. The Saints know what's coming down the railroad tracks. That is a massive cap hit. That is, oh my gosh, we're getting no free agents. We kicked the can down the road. Now it's time to pay the piper. They're just out here living. They have Rizzy. They have Derek Carr, Alvin Kamara, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Give me Marquez Valdez-Scantling to have like a 7-yard touchdown, by the way, just because I feel like it. But the Giants, you get to see Drew Lock play. They're tanking. They have the number 1 pick as it stands right now. They probably do not want to let go of it because it's probably going to be Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. More on that to come after the entire season and the draft picks come out. But give me the Saints to win this. You don't have Dexter Lawrence. Your defense was already bad, but now that you don't have Dexter Lawrence, it's even worse. Your offense doesn't look too good. Give me the Saints to go in to MetLife and win this game. Moving on, we go to the AFC East, where you have the New York Jets at the Miami Dolphins. Miami back home in the sun after being in a snowy Lambeau Field and kind of getting their teeth kicked in by the Packers. The Dolphins are not mathematically eliminated. Obviously, as it stands right now, the 3 wild cards in the AFC are the Broncos, the Chargers, and the Ravens. Then it's like, who else? Dolphins are kind of there. If they can make a nice little run, they might get in. Because a lot of these AFC West teams, they play each other. Raiders might be playing spoiler a couple times. And the Dolphins' defense is kind of a sleeper. They have a good defense. The Jets, they look rough. They look rougher than rough. This is a season to forget. I'd argue this is one of the worst Jets seasons in recent memory just because of the hope that you had coming in. It's like when you order Wingstop, or it's like when you go to Chipotle and you're like, dude, I've been craving Chipotle all day. I know this Chipotle is going to be good steak, good cheese. You get up there and they give you a scoop of steak with the shareholders in mind. You get up to Chipotle and they're like, yeah, here's a scoop of steak. And they shake off like 2 cubes, put it back and slide it over the queso. Do you want queso? No, I want more steak. That's what I want. That's what the Jets season is like. It's like when you go to Chipotle and they ration your burrito. You still have to pay full price, but you didn't get full price. That's what it's kind of like. But the Dolphins, they have a little bit of hope, and hope is a very powerful thing. How many times did a team say, oh my gosh, it doesn't look like they can do it? They come back down the stretch of the season. Oh my gosh, they make the playoffs. They win a game. Rah, rah, we're looking good. That's the Dolphins. They could possibly do it. I don't think they will, but it would be cool. They have a high-powered offense. Devon Achane, Jalen Waddle's getting going. Tyreek Hill. Jonnu Smith is very underrated. He finds the holes in all the defenses. It's a great tight end against zone coverage. Give me the Dolphins to get back on track against the Jets, and the Jets now get, another loss. I don't know many Jets fans that even want to watch this game. And if you don't watch a game because your team sucks, you're not a real fan. I just got to tell you that right now. That's the truth. I'm sorry. Sue me if I'm wrong. But honestly, I haven't had to have too many bad seasons because I'm a Packers fan. There was a couple in there. A couple seasons Aaron Rodgers broke his collarbone. The 2022 season where we missed off the last game, the playoffs. Got to watch a couple drafts where I was like, yeah, what are we doing here? But let's be real, okay? Watch your teams. Root for your teams. Don't be that guy who's like, I only show up when they're good. You're not a real fan then. Respectfully. Moving on, you have the Falcons going into US Bank to play the Vikings. Here's the thing about the Falcons. I said it last week. I believe it's time to at least see Michael Penix. Put him in a couple packages. In the Falcons, with Kirk Cousins, I'm taking a sip of my body armor, are going in to play the Vikings. If you've watched the Vikings, Brian Flores loves to blitz. Kirk Cousins can't really move well. He's old. He's coming off an Achilles injury. He hasn't looked good. He's coming off a 4-interception game. The Vikings force a lot of turnovers. On the other hand, the Falcons can't pressure the quarterback. What does that spell? That spells you going down early. Obviously, I think the Falcons are going to have a heavy dose of Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. How will the Vikings handle that? I don't know. But I don't know why. But when I was writing this game up and thinking of everything that I wanted to say about this game, I couldn't get the visual of a left-handed quarterback slinging dots out of my mind. This is going to be the hottest take I've ever had on this show. For some reason, I believe that this Sunday, the Falcons are going to beat the Vikings in a late fourth quarter comeback, but it's not going to be from Kirk Cousins. I believe Michael Penix gets in this game and takes the Vikings down. in the fourth quarter. I believe Michael Penix gets in. Craziest out of nowhere prediction. I know. This is probably going to be pulled up at the end of Sunday after the Vikings beat the Falcons by 40, and everyone's going to be like, oh, dude, this guy swear he knows ball. Like, bro thought he was in the crystal ball. No. I just have a weird feeling. Michael Penix is going to come in for the Falcons and beat the Vikings. He's going to come in like third quarter, second quarter, something. I don't wish for Kirk Cousins to get injured. I think he might get benched. He is playing so bad, and the way that it looks for the Falcons, you have a lot of guys on one-year deals. You need to make something shake. Might be time for Penix. If Kirk Cousins can't move and the Vikings are just teeing off on him on the blitz, you can't lose this game. The Buccaneers are coming, dude. They're coming after the Falcons, and it doesn't look good. That's my hot take. Falcons beat the Vikings behind a fourth quarter comeback by Michael Penix. Moving on, you have the Panthers, who just came off a back-breaking loss in overtime to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, going into Philadelphia to play the Eagles. And a lot of people think that this is just going to be some, oh my gosh, Bryce Young's going to be running for his life. If you think that, you need to sit back and watch the Panthers' offensive line. They're actually a very good offensive line. Bryce Young has been playing well, yes, but this is the Eagles' defense we are talking about. And the worst part is the Panthers' run defense, ever since Brown got injured, it's not good. No sugarcoating. I'm just going to be real. It's not a good run defense. The Eagles' run defense, or offense, is very good. Also, their run defense is too. Obviously, you have Hubbard, you have Jordan Brooks, who, by the way, if you don't know, you should look up Jordan Brooks. He's a dog. He is the future. Eagles are still gunning for the 1 seed in the NFC. Obviously, they wanted the Packers to beat the Lions. Didn't happen. But all you got to do, man, is you just got to win. No divisional. You're going to be the 2 seed most likely. If you look at it, guess what? They're by far and away leading the East, which is behind the Detroit Lions, obviously, because the Detroit Lions are now 12-1. And then the next two, because the top 4 division winners get the top 4 seeds, that should be changed. We'll talk about that at a later date. They're probably the 2 seed. But you don't want to give any leeway, right? You want to chase down the Lions. The Lions won this week. You got to win this week. You have to wait for the Lions to slip up. Will they? I don't know. But you have to be ready. Just win the game. Can Jalen Hurts throw against this Panthers secondary? The secondary is actually really good. I've watched a lot of Panthers football just because, not for self-torture like people think. A lot of people see that I'm watching like a MAC game or the Panthers. Oh, dude, do you have like a humiliation kink? No. I genuinely like watching the Panthers play football. They do a lot of good stuff. But give me the Eagles to win. I think the Eagles win this game. But that's all you got to do. Eagles, you just need to win. And obviously, I think they try to pad Saquon's stats. This could be a Saquon Barkley MVP game. This is a team that you can run all over. You saw what Bucky Irving did last week. It can happen. Moving out to the NFC South once again, you have the Vegas Raiders going into Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers. Once again, just like I said about the Eagles, the Buccaneers need to win this game. I don't care how you do it, you need to do it. Last week's win wasn't pretty, but guess what? It was a win. Keeps you in the playoffs. Mike Evans is getting back into the flow. Bucky Irving looks like a dog. He's probably going to be the lead back from here on out. Now for the Raiders, obviously no playoffs. Obviously you're probably going to be in the conversation to get a new quarterback. But it would be a nice little consolation prize to get Brock Bowers Offensive Rookie of the Year. I put out a tweet 2 weeks ago saying that everyone's talking about quarterbacks. This is Brock Bowers' award to win. I believe Brock Bowers should be the Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's been the most consistent. And I think against the Buccaneers, he will shine. I think he has a very good chance to shine. But for the Buccaneers, all you need to do is win, especially with this being a game the Falcons can lose. They can lose to the Vikings. Obviously, you guys heard my ridiculous take at the start. But if the Falcons lose and the Bucs win, that's huge. Because the Bucs have a monumentally easier schedule down the stretch of the year than the Falcons do. That's just facts. That is just the facts. So give me the Bucs to beat the Raiders, but I do think we will see another nice Brock Bowers game, strengthening his case for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Speaking of big games, you have the Seahawks going into Arizona to play the Cardinals in a massive NFC West showdown. You know what else is massive? Not even going to end that sentence because I know everyone just low taper fade. I should really get off my phone more. I should really stop watching TikTok and do something like, actually, I fixed my furnace today. Shout out to y'all. I do have a lot of cuts on my fingers because that sheet metal is ridiculously freaking sharp. I was digging in my furnace to get everything fixed. Got it fixed. Saved me a lot of money. So if you're an HVAC, shout out to you because I know you're bringing in the bucks. Because what they said it was going to cost, I heard that. I said, you know what? I'll do it myself. Went down to the hardware store, bought $19 worth of equipment, and said, okay, I know this. Put that wire here. Clean this part here. Plug it back in. Flip it on. Turn the filter. Let's go. And it's working right now. Now because I said that, I don't even want to jinx it. I'm not even going to speak it into existence. But yeah, Seahawks at the Cardinals. Seattle needs to clean up their red zone offense. Their offensive line has been atrocious. Arizona is a great team to do it against. Arizona, in my opinion, is not great against the run. Kenneth Walker, in my opinion, is still one of the best running backs in the NFL. It's just the offensive line is not good at all. For the Cardinals, you just need to avoid Kyler mistakes. Kyler can't keep making those big mistakes. He did a 360 no-scope, he did a 360 no-scope throw against the Vikings. I tried to defend him from the Call of Duty allegations, but that throw was 100% something a Call of Duty player makes. That is me, 2013, 2013, that's me, no. 2015, that's me, Nuketown, Black Ops 2, with the ballista. I'm freaking spinning around, coming back, boom, max sensitivity on a mannequin. That's how it goes. For the Seahawks, that's all you need to do. If they clean up red zone offense, they will be more of a threat. They will. So give me the Seahawks to beat the Cardinals. However, I do think Kyler Murray has a nice bounce-back game. Moving on, you have the Chicago Bears with the newly promoted interim head coach, Thomas Brown, going into San Francisco to play the 49ers. Now, the 49ers, obviously, McCaffrey's out, Mason's out. Garendo, who I gave a shout-out to early in the pod, episode probably 4, is now their starting running back. He is special. Don't sleep on him. He is a dog. The Bears now don't have Eberflus as head coach. Now they have the free trial. I'm telling you, it's just it's like when you sign up for a streaming service. Say that a new show just finished up. You got your first 3 days free, and you're off for 3 days. Winter break or something like that. Dude, Disney Plus free trial, I watched all of Moon Knight. I did the ad-free free trial too. Best believe I was in there Disney Plusing for hours. Infinity War. I tried to watch all the Marvel movies in order, all of that. This is probably why I have no friends. However, Moon Knight is a good show. I think the Bears win this. I've been picking the Bears a lot lately, but I do believe in Caleb Williams. In fact, I benched Jared Goff in fantasy, 1, because he was playing the Packers, and 2, because I think Caleb Williams has a good game. I think the 49ers secondary is very, very banged up. 49ers as a whole are very, very banged up. So I think there's a lot of potential there. So give me the Bears to beat the 49ers. Moving on, another big game. You have the Buffalo Bills at the Rams, which is going to be a home game for the Bills. If you go and you play at a Los Angeles team, it's a home game because the atmosphere stinks. People in LA don't care about football, which is why we needed to keep the Rams in St. Louis. That's a rant for another day, though. That is a rant for another day. The Bills are rolling. The Rams kind of snuck one out last week. And honestly, they just need to win. Because regardless what happens, they're going to be closer in the NFC. They probably want Seattle to lose this game. But this is a tough game. Because the Bills are very good. The Bills are chasing the 1 seed in the AFC, and the Rams just want to stay alive in the playoffs. Rams have a very good offensive line, but the Bills have the best quarterback in football, Josh Allen. Rushing touchdown, receiving touchdown, passing touchdown. I don't need to go any further. I know everything you guys have listened to. You guys have heard it the entire week, but it is crazy. So with that being said, give me the Rams to win this game. I believe that Sean McVay will have this team ready to play. In my opinion, this is the game of the week. I know a lot of people are probably going to talk about Chargers at Chiefs. Heck, some people might even talk about Falcons-Vikings. This is the game of the week. Obviously, it was Lions-Packers, but this is Sunday, right? So we're going to talk about Sunday. So give me the Rams to upset the Bills in SoFi Stadium. Sean McVay masterclass is incoming. That's what I think. Now, moving on to Sunday Night Football. You have an AFC West showdown between the Chiefs, who always escape unscathed, and the Chargers, who get into fistfights every week and sometimes come out on top. I understand. A lot of people, they kind of call the Chargers frauds. They haven't really beaten that many good opponents. Honestly, I don't think they've really beaten a good opponent. You have Ladd McConkey. I don't know his status for the game. I think it's still questionable. And if he's out, that's tough. J.K. Dobbins is out. And I understand a lot of you guys want me to go against Chiefs. I can't do it here. Sunday Night Football, we still haven't seen a very vintage Mahomes game. The Panthers was close. But this is the time of year that the Chiefs really get rolling. They've escaped. They escaped versus the Panthers. They escaped versus the Raiders. Everyone's thinking, okay, here's the time. Chargers catch them lacking. Let's hit them. The Chiefs come to play in big games most of the time. You think about the Ravens, the Bengals, the Falcons. Sure, all controversial things happen, but I'm thinking it's going to happen again this week. Here's what I think happens. I think that Patrick Mahomes doesn't go out of bounds on a scramble, gets hit, and they throw a 15-yard penalty flag. That is what I think is going to happen. You've seen a ref blow a whistle early. You've seen PI calls. You've seen someone step on the line out of bounds. You've seen a blocked field goal. You've seen it all. It's time for a flag on Patrick Mahomes being hit to really enter the NFL space and really get people up in arms and thinking. And that, my friends, will do it for today's show. 43 minutes. We're getting longer in time. I'm getting longer-winded. But thank you guys, as always, for listening/watching. I am making a clips channel on TikTok because that's how you grow. So I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. It will be out tomorrow. It is 11:30 p.m. as I'm recording this. So this is going to be up Thursday night. But thank you guys for watching. Have a great day or night whenever you are listening/watching this. God bless. And remember, as always, Jesus loves you. Peace.